We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight. Tigers win and are going to the Sweet 16. How about them Lady Tigers, baby? How about them Lady Tigers? Final in Baton Rouge, 66-42, as Angel Reese has 23 points and 25 rebounds and goes absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the Sweet 16, taking down the Fighting Dave Portnoy's 66-42. So massive at the half, 30-15. Angel got her lip busted in the opening couple of minutes and then came out, kind of started off a little bit sluggish. Tigers were only shooting 27%, at halftime, but then came back with a great defensive effort. I'm talking about massive defensive effort tonight, and then the offense found their ways. Angel Poole hit hit a massive three. Floje hit a couple of massive threes there to start separating some things. So really good performance, and Kim Mulkey's team continues to roll as they have entered the conversation of the Sweet 16. Can this team get to the Final Four? Last time I checked, Utah was taking on Princeton, and that game was really close. I'll have to go during the break. And find out if what that final score is, what that final score was. So if you have it inside the chat, you could put it in there. I wasn't necessarily paying attention to Princeton and Utah. Yes, indeed. Everybody saying Utah won. There you go. Doug knows. Jonah and Wade all said we face Utah, so we'll face them Friday. As the Lady Tigers will, it'll be a massive Friday, man. Massive Friday. LSU takes on number 7 Arkansas. I expect Arkansas to be either in the top 5 or right outside the top 5 at number 6. In baseball, you'll face them Friday in Alex Box as they swept. If I'm not mistaken, they swept Auburn this weekend, and they look pretty impressive doing that as well. Their pitching looked really good, but Auburn is a little bit down. If you've been following the show, you know that Southeastern Louisiana took 2 of 3 from them a couple of weekends ago, but got beaten 2 out of 3 by Memphis this weekend. So Southeastern, that's not necessarily a good look. You got to be able to take on, beat Auburn and continue the hot streak. That's for sure. So we'll obviously talk about some LSU baseball. Look, you take 2 of 3. I see a lot of people overreacting on social media that you lost in game 3. We'll talk about it all. Okay, LSU is continuously struggling against left-handed pitching, not even just in the weekend, but in the midweek, and that's why Schlossnagle came out with 572 lefties this weekend. But bottom line is that Johnston, that came in for Texas A&M, only gave up 1 hit. That was to Jared Jones on the bloop single into center field. But I know a lot of you are upset, but guys, you beat the number 15 team on the road 2 out of 3. We'll talk about some of the good. We'll talk about some of the bad here tonight. As we'll start off with some LSU baseball to kick it all off as well. Spring football is back this week. Some things that we're expecting to see as they will start opening some things up. Not just when it comes to offense, defense, special teams, but they'll start opening some things up for the media. And I think this upcoming Saturday, we might be able to be there for the entire practice. And if that's the case, then we have LSU baseball that will take on Arkansas that Saturday too. So will be a really, really good day Saturday as well, depending on how locked in you are, I guess. A couple comments. We'll go around the SEC. I'll give you some scores and some highlights as Tennessee went down, got swept by Missouri, a team that we've been talking about in reference to college baseball for a while now. They had an impressive opening weekend to start the season, and then they sweep Tennessee. So either you're going to believe that Tennessee's not a good baseball team right now, or Missouri is that team, which I'm going to lean a little bit to Missouri, as I think that they just got some dudes right now. They got some dudes. So we'll touch on it all. Let's get to a couple comments, though, before we get rolling. D. Smith says Kling struggled this weekend. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It's a freshman. Let's see how he does as the season progresses. Jeremy Marshall says the PMAC hasn't had an atmosphere like this in a long time. Hashtag let's go. I agree with that. Christian Connor says, go Tigers. Reese is not of this world, just saying. You know, our brother plays for Maryland, has had a pretty good March Madness as well. Adam B, the fiancés commenting back to back. How about that? Are y'all in the same room? The fiancés commenting? He said A&M fans acting like they won the World Series. LSU fans acting like they lost the weekend. Yeah, all about perspective. All about perspective, baby. All about how you feel about it. All about how you feel about it. Yeah, I see this in the comments. FDU, Fair Dickinson. Say that 10 times fast. Fair Dickinson's not going away, man. They're not going away. So they're leading FAU right now, or they were, but it looks like it's 58-54 now. We'll monitor these games as it go on. And we'll talk some basketball. We'll talk some March Madness at the end. Stephen Frost says it's baseball. You can't win them all. Only the ignorant will be upset with the boys letting one get away. Yeah, I mean, look, as crazy as this is going to sound, as absolutely crazy as this is going to sound, guys, it's okay, right? I mean, you don't want that to happen continuously, but there's going to be a weekend where you're going to have to go out there and get a sweep, and you'll do it. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Stop worrying so much. I mean, one guy, was tweeting at us saying, "Hey, Blake, this team's a disappointment." I'm like, dude, they're 18-2. They're 18-2. Calm down. Calm down. David says Jay should have started Little to start the 8th. Relief pitching needs some work. Played hard this weekend. We'll talk about all of it. I got some thoughts. Dane Bergeron said, good evening, Blake. Baseball is not how you start, it's how you finish. Ask the New York Yankees. Yeah, why you gotta throw that in there? Why you gotta throw that in there? Come on, man. Why I gotta throw my Yankees in there, man? Come on, bro. Sheldon McBride says, congrats to women's basketball at LSU. Team and crowd were phenomenal. Student section was livid, man. Some of those calls. I mean, and look, Michigan played tough, man. They wasn't a scrub team. They played tough. And what's crazy is if you're Michigan, almost a year ago to the day, Ohio State is the team that took out LSU at LSU, right? Yeah. Dane Bergeron says, Blake, I'm a huge Yankees fan. Well, you know what? I am too, Dane. And this is what I'll say. When I die, I want all of you in here to tell the New York Yankees organization to be my pallbearer so they can let me down one more time. Because they always are letting me down. Sheldon McBride says, baseball lost its focus after going up 5-1. I think you can make that comparison. Bonnie says, lots of baseball left. Absolutely. Why people are freaking out, that I don't know. Okay, a couple more, then we'll get rolling. Holden Lee says, what really hurt was Hurd being inconsistent and not completing more than 5 innings. Well, Holden, I mean, with all due respect, neither did them. Neither did A&M the last 2 games. I mean, Hurd not going through 5 does not stop you from getting blanked in the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. You got blanked. And then in the 7th, you have bases loaded and you only get in a run. Right? So we could say that about Hurd all the live long day, right? But again, you're continuously leaving guys on base. Okay, but again, lots of baseball left. I'm not going to overreact to this game, right? Like, there's no reason to overreact. There are just some things that you got to fix. Paxton Kling and Gavin Dugas and Zach Pearson. It's our buddy Zach Pearson. And Pearson can't strike out with runners on base. Guys, you struck out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times with runners on base. Okay, that can't happen. That simply can't happen. That's how when you leave teams, when you let teams stay around and they start coming back, that's what happens to you. That's what happens to you. All right, last one, then we'll get rolling. Clay Phillips, big Vandy fan, says, hey, Blake, ACC baseball already crazy. Yes, his Vandy boys swept Ole Miss this weekend. We'll talk about that towards the end of the show as we go around your SEC. All right, let's get this thing rolling. Everybody do us a favor, though, by hitting the like and share. So many of you watching us live on Facebook right now. I need to pull up Facebook. I never pull up Facebook. I never even get on Facebook unless I'm posting like something with my family. But all of you on Facebook, do us a favor right now. Hit the like and share to all of those social media pages. 41 of you right now. So do us a favor. Stop, collaborate, and listen. I want 41 likes if you're on Facebook. Hit that like, hit the share to all of those social media pages. If you're listening to us on YouTube, there is currently 70 of you. So do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all of those social media pages. Share to all of your social media groups as well. If you're listening to us on XM Radio, TuneIn app, Sirius XM, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. We greatly appreciate you doing that. Let me just get to this one really quick. Who that dude on YouTube says CD Deuce to the Lions, 1 year, $8 million. Look, man, some people just don't want what he gives you. Okay? So that's the market for him. And he poor guy's just going to have to live with it. All right, let's get rolling. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag and our good friends over at GM Vorno & Sons, gmvorno&sons.com. We're back in 1 minute. Talk some LSU baseball, LSU women's basketball, SEC, and more when we return. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Vardo & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motor chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down on the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons, go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992, 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Jamie Fortenberry says, I finally found the like button. I hear you. I know it can be complicated on Facebook. Ryan says there's more YouTube viewers than Facebook. What? Yeah. Usually when you go late at night, Facebook kind of dies down. So everybody hit the like and share. One thing I forgot to mention, though, when we were talking about the Lady Tigers, one thing that's massive, man, they went undefeated this season in the PMAC. Defend your home court at all times. That is a massive achievement, right? Like that's a massive thing. When Kim goes out and recruiting, she's talking to recruits, and I mean, it's a big selling point. It's also a massive selling point when you're trying to sell season tickets. right? Like you buy season tickets. Hey, guys, we just don't lose at home. Okay, it's a big deal, right? Like it's a really big deal for Kim. It's a big accomplishment. It's a very big accomplishment. So shout out to Kim and the Lady Tigers. All right, let's talk about, a little bit, though, about LSU baseball, and then we'll get to some women's basketball here tonight. Go Tigers on YouTube says Jordan Thompson should be the leadoff batter. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really like that. I only run tall stuff says where in the hell is Brayton Joubert? Well, you're gonna see him this weekend. Okay, because look, LSU will play Central Arkansas on Tuesday, and then you have the weekend series against Arkansas, who is coming off a massive weekend sweeping Auburn. Look, here are the biggest things for me for today. Now, let me preface this by saying, I see a lot of you freaking out on social media. You're tagging us in the stuff on Twitter and Twitter and Facebook. I get it. You're upset. You wanted the sweep. But let me start off by saying this series is damn near identical this year and last year. If you remember, A&M came out, took the first two from LSU, was leading LSU all the way like through the 6th or 7th, and then here came the Tigers. They win game 3, and we know how the season would progress. A&M would win the West. LSU would go 17-13 inside of SEC play. We all remember that. Now you flip the calendar over 1 year. LSU takes the first two, and then you let A&M hang around in game 3. They come back and win. You're still 18-2. You're still 18-2. I know that you're upset. I wanted the sweep just as bad as you did. I don't like A&M just as much as you don't. But there's some things you got to clean up. Look, when you played UNO a couple nights ago, when you've played other teams that have gone up against you and you faced left-handed pitching. Now, the stat that we're going to have for tomorrow, what does LSU look like against left-handed pitching? As of late, it's not been that great. I think it's a little bit concerning. You know who else thought it was a little bit concerning or a thing that LSU may be struggling with? Jim Schlossnagle. Why do I say that? Guys, look at how many relievers came out of the pen for Texas A&M and how many of them were left-handed pitchers. And quite honestly, the last guy that you saw today in the Johnston kid, he only gave up one hit, the little bloop single from Jared Jones up the middle when Johnston came into the 7th, right? He locked you down, okay? You go into the 8th. Cruz comes up, grounds out to 3rd. Tommy White strikes out, and then Dugas strikes out. I mean, he comes into the 7th, nevertheless, and you got runners on, okay? You have the bases loaded in the 7th. Pearson would start off the inning walk, and then there was a wild pitch. Jones would walk. Then you had the pitching change. Thompson got hit by a pitch. Then there was another pitching change, and then Will Johnson came in and shut you down. Neal had a sacrifice fly into left field that had a run scored. Paxton Kling flew out to right. Runner would advance to 3rd, and then Morgan would ground out to 2nd. When you have the bases loaded and no outs, you cannot only score 1 run. You just can't. Then when you start off the game hot, right? Like the game, it looked like it was going to be in your favor. First inning, you get 4 runs. The second inning, you get a run. But you get blanked in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Come back in the 7th, and you get a run. You can't let teams stay around, man. You just can't. Okay? Especially when you have situations where you legitimately have guys on. Dylan Cruz is credited with a double that he out in right field. The guy just blatantly missed it. You got 1 out and a runner on 2nd, and you don't score him. Okay? Those are some things that you got to clean up. Okay? Those are just some things that you got to clean up. Got to maybe try to start working on fixing striking out as many times as you are. But when you get that much power, the chances of you striking out are pretty big. Now, Saturday, and what we all forget in all of this, right? Like, we lose on Sunday, we don't get the sweep, and everybody forgets, like, you have a very talented freshman in Jared Jones who has a 7 RBI game. Guys, he's hitting 7th in this lineup. Paul Skeens, who will more than likely be at minimum the SEC pitcher of the week, maybe. They had a lot of good performances this weekend. Florida had a guy that went a complete game with only one hit. So we'll see. But Paul Skeens is a dude. You shut them down on Friday. You pretty much locked them down on Saturday too. And you hit the ball all over the park. Don't let a Sunday game of you not being able to sweep minimize what you did Friday and Saturday. Now you lose. You're 18-2. You get to regroup and go back out there and do some good things. Okay? You got a massive game this weekend. You got a massive series this weekend. You face number 15 Texas A&M on the road. You come home. You take on a number 7. Probably will be in number 5, if I had to assume. A number 5 to number 7 ranked Arkansas team. It's a juggernaut now. It's a juggernaut. And look, you get 30 of these, okay? Sometimes one's going to slip away. Is this the one that slips away from LSU? Is this that one? Another thing that I want to touch on about today, which I thought throughout the series, I thought Garrett Edwards looked good. Nate Ackenhausen. And look, Nate Ackenhausen didn't really have a great outing, but you were getting squeezed behind the plate all weekend. Today included, you were getting squeezed. The guys behind the plate were squeezing you. So you have some guys that can come out in relief and pitch. Christian Little looked good on Friday night. He came out on Sunday. He struggled. Okay, he struggled. In the 8th, when he came in, okay, he gave up a walk and then had 2 strikeouts, and you have 2. This is the biggest thing, though. With 2 outs, okay, with 2 outs, you get a walk and a run scored, okay, which would put A&M down a run, then a single in between third and short, the one that Tommy Tanks dove for. Got the guy 2 RBIs and then an infield bunt single, a swinging bunt, I should say. The swinging bunt single, that also scored a run, and then Christian Little got you a K in the bottom of the 8th. They blew it up in the 8th. You just got to respond. But you did. Here are the positives. And here's the thing that everybody just needs to understand, look forward to, and move on from. You won the series on the road against number 15. Multiple innings. You got you literally multiple innings. You got multiple runs throughout innings the entire weekend. It's when LSU just goes on these little bit of stretches where they can't seem to get any kind of rhythm at the plate, and you go from the 3rd inning to the 6th inning, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 4 innings, and you can't do anything. It can be a problem. Like I mentioned earlier, respond, be pissed off, do whatever you got to do. Go out there and take it out on Central Arkansas on Tuesday. And then you face Arkansas this weekend. I thought Chase Shores looked really good today too. I thought defense looked pretty well at times throughout the series, and especially today. Now, Jordan Thompson has got to catch the ball on that double play, the one that Tommy Tanks had. But then you turn right around and Tommy Tanks, which I never heard this, and never did I think that this was a rule. Remember Tommy Tanks tagging the guy out at 3rd and pushing his hand off the back? I did not think that was coming. I thought that they would overturn it, but they didn't. I'll be candid. I've never seen that before. I've been around baseball. So literally in my family, I have an uncle that's been has been a head coach for 35 plus years, longer than I've been alive. And 2 cousins, my first cousins, are really like brothers to me. They've been in my wedding. We talk every day pretty much. And they're one of them's a head coach at Bell Chase, and Clay's probably going to take over at Franklinton when he's done. And as much baseball as I've been around, and my grandfather coached at Franklinton for 20 plus years too, won I think 3 state championships or 2 state championships, can't remember. So I've been around baseball all my life. And I don't ever remember a scenario where that happened. So you live and learn every day. You live and learn every day. But what do you want me to say, man? I mean, if you want to freak out, you can. But Florida's a really good team. They face a top-ranked opponent. They can only take 2 of 3 from Alabama. So let me just give you some of the SEC scores. We can talk about it a little bit later. South Carolina swept a really bad Georgia team. I got ripped on Friday night, by the way, by Georgia fans for saying they're not good. You just got swept by South Carolina. Congratulations. Vandy swept Ole Miss. Okay. Which, by the way, Kentucky. Are you a baseball school now, Kentucky? One thing that we're not talking about, if you're an SEC baseball fan, they're on a 14-game win streak. They swept Mississippi State. Missouri sweeps Tennessee. Arkansas sweeps Auburn. Florida takes 2 of 1 from Bama, and LSU takes 2 of 1 from Texas A&M. So either teams got swept or really good teams like Alabama and Texas A&M were able to battle back and get one. But you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of the 7 SEC matchups this weekend, you had 5 sweeps. And 2 teams in Florida and LSU were in control of their series the entire time, and just let one slip away. And I can make the argument, especially for LSU, I think you had an uphill battle on Friday and Saturday, especially Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens legitimately was getting squeezed behind the plate. And it's aggravating. Like, I don't know if you guys saw my tweet, but I added the SEC and SEC officiating. I think this umpiring crew from this past week at A&M, especially the guy behind the plate on Friday night, should be ultimately suspended. It was that bad. And you could say, well, he was consistent for both teams. No, he wasn't. Not the game that I saw. The only consistent thing about him was his inconsistency and being tight. This isn't Major League Baseball, bud. So when you go home and your wife is screaming at you and you want to take it out on 18 to 21-year-olds, congratulations, but you suck at umpiring. And you wonder why people want to go to some people want to go to ropo umpires, which I don't want to. I think it's kind of idiotic for you to go to a robo umpire. So umpires are part of the game, and it's kind of contradictory of what I'm coming out here and talking about. But get somebody that's better than this guy. Get somebody that's better. LSU faced an uphill battle. They took 2 out of 3. I don't know what you want me to tell you. You want me to come in here and freak out that you lost a game? I'm not going to do that. Guys, you're not even halfway through the season. Not even halfway through. Now you got to lock in. Now you know that you can be beat. If the Iowa game didn't tell you anything, you can be beat. And you're on a 12, 13-game win streak, you're going to lose one. Okay? You're going to lose one. We'll see. I'll pull this one up. Brandon Reese says, if this was football, the mood would be different. LMAO. Well, yeah, it'd be different, but this isn't football. In football, you don't play 56 games, right? You just don't. Baseball is a different breed, a different animal. Dylan Nation said, Blake, what about those umps? Very bad behind the plate and inconsistent. 1,000%. 1,000%. 1,000%. Rick on YouTube says Calipari and Stoops need to step aside in Lexington for baseball. Man, they're on a 14-game winning streak, right? Like, I mean, Kentucky and baseball, they're not. Is there anybody that does less with more talent than John Calipari? Literally. Is there anybody that does less with more? Could be Mississippi State, man, and be absolutely just crazy. And then Tennessee got swept by Mizzou, guys. Been trying to tell you all the live long day. Nobody would listen to you, boy. If you watch this show every night, you know we've been screaming at the rafters about Mizzou. Just glad you don't have to face them. I'm serious about that. Cold and Como. If you don't know what Como is what they call, Columbia, Missouri. Cold as hell out in Como. And they got beat. I don't mind. Look, as crazy as this sounds, okay, I don't like that you lose, but you're going to face this. I mean, there are things that are correctable, right? Like, so let's just do this. It's going to be a little long-winded, but stay with me. Okay, top of the third, Jones lines out to left field. Thompson got hit by a pitch. Neal singled up the middle. Okay, so now you got runners on first and second. And then Paxton Kling comes up and hits into a fielder's choice, shortstop through to second base. So 6-4. And then Morgan grounded out to shortstop. Okay. So now you have in the third inning, that's 2 runners left on base. Okay. In the fourth inning, Cruz would fly out to right field. Tommy White would single into left field. Dugas and Pearson would strike out. So this is just starting at the top of the third. So now you have a total of 3 guys left on base. You go into the fifth. Jared Jones line drive into center field. Jordan Thompson lines out into left. And here you go again. Brady Neal and Paxton Kling with both strikeouts swinging. That's another one. Now you're up to 4. Okay, then you go into the top of the sixth. You have Trey Morgan grounding out to third. Dylan Cruz hitting an absolute frozen rope into right. It was the one where the guy, I guess the sun was blocking him and it didn't even touch him, so they ruled it a double. And then Tommy White would go down looking. And then Gavin Dugas would hit a frozen rope or hit a shot into center field, and the guy would make a diving catch. Guys, that's 5 runs or 5 guys left on base. You come into the seventh. This is where, and I was mentioning this. The seventh is what lost you the game ultimately. Okay, the seventh inning is what lost you the game. Pearson would walk, wild pitch would advance. Jones would walk in a pitching change. Thompson would get hit by another pitch. Neal would hit a line drive into left, and then the sacrifice fly. Then Johnston came in, the guy that we were talking about. Kling would fly out into right, and then Morgan would ground out to third. So, guys, you leave another 2 on in that instance. That's 7 runners that you left on base. 7 so far since the start of the third inning. Okay. Then you go into the 8th. Here's your 8th inning. Here's where you needed. Here's all the momentum in which it shifted. Cruz grounded out to third. Tommy Tank struck out swinging. Dugas struck out swinging. It's baseball, man. Baseball. Then Pearson would come up, would fly out to center. Jones would would hit a single in the center field. Thompson would strike out, and then Neal would fly out into right field with a total of 8 guys from the third inning to the 9th inning that you left on base. That's the game. That's the game. Now, we can, and this is what I was going to talk about last. Okay. We can talk about guys coming in relief. Now, Riley Cooper came into the 5th and looked abysmal. Okay. He got you out the bottom of the 4th. The double play when he came in, the 1-6-3 double play. But the bottom of the 5th, man, you gave up a walk, a single, a double that had 2 RBIs, another walk. Chase Shores would come in, and then you have the 1-6-3 double play, and then he had a little weak ground ball to him, and then he fielded it and threw it at first. So Chase Shores comes in after Riley Cooper struggles and absolutely delivers. He comes in the 6th. He gets a strikeout. He has a walk, and then you have a double play again by Chase Shores. Absolutely dealing at this point. Comes into the 7th. Strikes out another guy, has a walk, line drive into right field, and then you have a line out to 5. Thompson should have caught it, and then you had the scenario with Tommy Tanks. I guess you could just say pushing the guy off the bag, and then you get out. Okay, so then he gave a single back up the middle, and then a hit by pitch, and then Christian Little came in. He struck the first 2 guys out, which were massive. but then the wheels absolutely fell off. So to say that your relieving pitching wasn't good, I mean, Cooper came in and delivered for you, but had struggled, okay, in the 5th, and then Christian Lewis struggled in the 8th. But you literally have both of those guys who have already come into the series and dealt for you. Chase Shores looked really good. So spare me just a little bit to say that, you just got to be a little bit cautious, man. A little bit cautious. I knew this was coming. Right here. Rob Boudreaux says, I'm not a fan of Riley Cooper. It's hard to but here's the thing though with Riley Cooper though, guys. Here's the thing. He's going to continue to come in, okay? And he came in the clutch for you a lot last year. And I think Jay's going to go to him. I don't know how else to say this. Here's the weakness that I think that you do have. You're going to have to find another guy on the left-handed guy that can come out of the pen. Is it going to be Griffin Herring? I mean, could Ackenhausen have come back in? I mean, now you're nitpicking, right? Like now you're nitpicking. Don't go back and look. Riley Cooper was pretty solid a season ago. I'm going to give him a little bit of a break. But he's got to get better, man. He's got to get better. Start the season, his fastball was 91, sitting around 90, 91. Today was 87, 88 at max. He threw 3 fastballs in the 5th that were topped out at 86. So something was easily off. Rick says, #AskLake, what's your take on the shift A&M was using? It's concerning. More teams are going to do that to you. He says, stole about 3 hits from Trey Morgan just today. Yeah, that's concerning. It's concerning. But here's the thing, though, Rick. Don't mean this in a wrong way. What I've never understood. Here's what I've never understood in baseball, especially in the major leagues. Dude, you get paid $10 million a year. Wait back on the pitch. Wait back. Sit on that back foot. Wait. Let it get late. Throw your hands at it. Take the ball the opposite way. If they're going to play you like that, it's like Dylan Cruz this weekend. They did it 4 or 5 times to Dylan Cruz, and then he start absolutely tattooing balls in the right field. Congratulations, you done messed up. It's what makes him the best overall hitter on this team. Look, I'm not going to get – the only thing that I would change with this lineup at the current moment, you're going to have to do something with Paxton Kling. Now, the way that Pearson performed this weekend, do you move Pearson in the leadoff? We'll have to wait and see. But Paxton Kling's not ready for SEC pitching. One thing is apparent. Paxton Kling's not ready for SEC pitching, especially elite SEC pitching. What you saw from Will Johnston today from A&M was elite. That off speed, that slider is unreal. What did they say on the broadcast today? That, like the plate, guys, the plate's 18 inches. Like in their data research, they literally talked about how his off speed from his slider is going at average at times during the fall was 18 to 19 inches. That's how far it's going. That's it. That pitch is damn near impossible to hit. You're thinking about hitting it inside off speed, but before you know it, that thing's on the outer corner of the plate, and you're having to either have a really good take, or you're going to have to try to just take it the opposite way. But Paxton Kling did not have a good weekend. And look, I'm not taking him out of the lineup. He's too talented to take him out of the lineup. Guys, the start of today, I mean, he did horrible and was still hitting 360. Got to move him down the lineup. If he's going to have that bad of at bats, and it's not as if he saw a plethora amount of fastballs. They went up there and threw all speed after all speed at him and dared him to try to hit it. That's what most freshmen are going to see. That's what most freshmen are going to see. But don't forget this. Don't forget this. You still got 3 true freshmen in that lineup, and you did what you did. Skeens, what he did on Friday night is unreal. I thought Ty Floyd did okay, kind of struggled a little bit. But when you can hit the way that LSU hits, sometimes you're just going to have to live and die by what you're doing. You got to better pray to God that you get these guys enough experience, and you better get ready for this weekend. Guys, Arkansas is not slouches. They're not slouches. Arkansas swept Auburn this weekend, 7-2, 9-3, and 5-0. Dominated. Hard to sweep, man. It's hard to sweep. So you got the Razorbacks. Who? Pig suey. Probably what their mamas smell like. Shout out to my guy Ty Richardson, not your mama. But be fun. Be fun. All right, let's talk a little bit about this, and then we'll get to comments and then go around the SEC March Madness. Did FDU lose? I think FDU lost, man. It stinks. Yeah, they did. Fairleigh Dickinson, FDU, well, 78-70. Dang, that stinks. TCU's up right now against Gonzaga, and Miami's up against Indiana with about 10 minutes left to go in the second. Look, let me say this, and then we'll get the comments throughout the rest of the show. Got to give a shout out to Kim, man. That place was packed tonight. It was raucous. You led 13-15 at halftime. Angel Reese had 23 and 25. You beat them 66-42. Guys, you beat them by more than 20 points. And this is 3-6 matchup. This isn't like this is a scrub team. But Angel Reese having the busted lip. She came out. When she came back in, though, she missed a couple of shots. She didn't like getting hit in the mouth. But at halftime, man, she literally, as she goes, you go. 13 points she had a double-double at half. 13 points, 14 rebounds. But as the game went on, LSU and like what elite, not good, elite teams do. Now I don't know if they're an elite team yet. We're about to find out. But what elite teams do is when they smell blood in the water, they go after you and close it out. And that's exactly what they did. It's going to be a fun Friday. You got the ladies going out there trying to get to the Elite Eight, as now they're in the Sweet 16 for the first time in over a decade. It's massive. It's massive. Guys, your women's basketball team's about to turn a profit too, by the way. So don't tell me about spending money on Kim when you're turning profits. Let's go out there and let's win. Let's get to the Elite Eight. All right. Let's get to a couple of these comments. I'll try to go up as much as I can to get as many of them as I can. Rob Boudreaux says, I don't like my pictures looking like they are in the Zach Brown band. Talking about Riley Cooper. Rick says, is Blake Money regulated to occasionally closer status? Well, he got rocked around a little bit. But yeah. Yeah. I mean, and Rick, I don't know if you saw on Saturday, Blake Money had a pickoff move to first and nobody was there. Nobody was there. I'm gonna be look, I'm not freaking out on Christian Little, okay, at all. He had a bad outing. You also got to close on Friday. So I'm just gonna be okay. I'm gonna relax at the current moment. Now, here's what I do know. Chase Shores delivered, and if he's gonna come out the pin and look that impressive, okay. But who throws on Tuesday? Who do y'all think throws on Tuesday? But yeah, I like this from Jason Brumfield. Jason Brumfield says you're kind of missing Grant Taylor right now. You're damn right you're missing Grant Taylor right now. You're damn right you're missing Grant Taylor. But here's another thing that I think everybody just missed up on is because LSU dominated Texas A&M on Friday and Saturday, some people are just like, oh, you lost. Guys, you lost the number 15 team in the country. Like, it's not as if that they suck, okay? They don't suck. Okay, they're not Georgia. They're not Mississippi State, and they're not Auburn. But it is kind of wild that 5 teams in the SEC swept this weekend. And Florida and LSU were right on the brink of doing it their damn selves. That's kind of wild. That is kind of wild. I do got to admit. All right. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all of those social media pages. We appreciate you doing that. So share. If you want to comment in, you want us to get to your comment first, you can fire in a super chat as well on YouTube. So fire in a super chat if you want us to get to your comment first. Clay Phillips says LMAO. What you talking about, Clay? What you laughing at, Clay? Oh, you're laughing at you don't want your pictures looking like they're from the Zach Brown band? Okay, we'll start from this comment right here. Rick says Cruz punished them on that shift. Is right. Yeah, but he made him pay. He made him pay. Rob says, I know that he did some good last year, but he had been off this year. He's been off in 2 performances. I'm just not going to write him off yet, Rob. You know what I mean? Like, why am I going to write him off on 2 bad performances? Adam B says, need Joe Bear back in the lineup. Do you take Kling out? Rick says Kling, too many third pitch strikes holding his bat. Got to protect with 2 strikes. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Brandon Reese says, I'm not going to get stressed out over a baseball game. We have a talented enough team to get things going as the season goes on. Yeah, I agree. Doug No says Aggie has to have the most lefties on the SEC team. I don't know that. Never seen anything like it. Hell, what we have 1 or 2 in just 2 years. I mean, you had Cooper, you got Herring, and Ackenhausen. You need more, though. You need some more. Ryan says move Trey to lead off and cruise in the 2-hole. I don't know who you put to lead off. But I'm just, I don't mind Trey Morgan leading off. He sees a lot of pitches a lot of times. I just don't know if I'm moving Cruz, man. You know what? This is going to sound stupid. You ready for it? I don't know if I wouldn't Tuesday, I don't know if I wouldn't entertain. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to get ripped alive. All right. How about this? I'm going to say this. Okay? It's a thought. I don't even know fully yet if I believe you should do this. Just a thought. Randomly thinking about this right now as I'm talking to you. What if you put Jarrett Jones in the 2-hole? I know he doesn't have the speed, but listen to me. He's going to have to see more pitches, okay, and better pitches because Cruz and Tanks are right behind him. If you let that guy you're going to have to throw it in because if you put him on and then Cruz is up to bat, then what? They pitch him so differently because Brady Neal's behind him, right? It's just a thought. Oh, Penn Jones says Ole Miss up on Stanford. Oh, in the second, 26-20. Keep us updated. Oh, here comes Coach Payton. Coach Payton in the building says Cruz should lead off. He is the definition of a leadoff hitter. I don't mind that. Doug knows says any Javen Coleman updates. I do not have any. Neither did Jay Johnson. He was asked about it this week. Brandon Graziano says we owe Arkansas a few beatdowns. That's true, especially in baseball. Elwin on Facebook says, does all SEC teams have the left-handed pitchers like A&M? I don't know that. I don't know that. No idea. But I know we don't have them. Right? Like I know that we don't have that many. So I mean, but look, this is a concern for me. And then I got told this is a horrible take. It's not a horrible take. You went up against Samford, you went up against UNO, and you had faced two slow-throwing lefties. You couldn't hit them. Then you faced a guy in Will Johnson today. You couldn't hit him. And then they came in with another lefty. You couldn't hit him. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look at this right quick. Let's go to Friday. See what you did on Friday. Now, Friday in the 9th, you absolutely exploded. Let's see. I'd have to go back. I'm looking through my notes. I don't know when. I know that they Saturday they got. Well, remember? No, it might have been Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. Saturday they started off a lefty. Remember? Saturday they started off a lefty, meaning A&M, and the dude went through what 3 1/3 or 2 1/3. No, he didn't even get out the first. That's right, he didn't even get out the first. And he did, or maybe got in the second. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at it. But he didn't give up a hit. I remember the broadcast talking about it. He didn't even give up a hit and got taken out. I mean, you struggled against left-handed pitching. You've struggled against left-handed pitching. So this isn't something that's just been new. Now, what I would ask you to do is, if you think that I'm crazy, start charting. Start charting what happens when you're going up against left-handed pitching. Bet you won't say that I'm crazy then. All right, everybody on YouTube, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit the share. Share to Twitter. Share to Facebook. Do your boy a solid. Come on, man. Wallace Bourne says Ole Miss is up 29-20 against Stanford at halftime. How about that? And Ole Miss was pretty scrappy this year. Brandon Reed says you can't go wrong with Cruz or Morgan, to be honest. It's a pick your poison type of choice. Well, we'll see. I mean, I just don't. I don't. The one thing is for sure. You're going to have to get Paxton clean out that thing. Right? Like, you're going to have to get Paxton. What's this right here? Oh, there it is. You're going to have to get Paxton Kling out of it. Shit. I'll be honest, I was kind of surprised Joe Bear didn't come in one of these games to take over for him. I'll be truthfully honest. And it was kind of aggravating. Chili Vic says, or tried the left-handed freshman. Which one? Talking about Griffin Herring? Coach Payton says, I know him and Tanks are fun to watch back-to-back, but he needs to be in the lineup and lead off. Gosh, you're 18-2. I mean, the truth be told, I mean, you did kind of score enough runs today to win you the game. It was down the stretch, you can't have that 5th and 8th inning, right? Like, you can't let guys coming in relief in the 5th and 8th inning and let that happen to you. And I mean, did you do bad at the plate to some extent? Yes, especially third through 7 or 3 through 6. Same time, you can't have that 5th and 8th that 5th and 8th inning. You know, because now it's a little bit of a double-edged sword to some extent, right? Because Cooper can't come in and do what he did, and then you can't have Christian Little in the 8th giving up as much as he's given up too. The only thing that I would place Monday morning quarterback on with Jay would be, Coach, did you not have anybody in the pen ready to go when Christian Little came out there in the 8th? That'd be my question to him. because Christian Little went on Friday, and then he went again today. Friday, he looked really good. And he only threw 16 pitches. That would be my biggest question. Did you have anybody ready to go there in the 8th? And I'm sure Jay's pissed. Knowing Jay and talking to him multiple times since he's been here, I know that he's pissed. Trust me, he's more pissed than you are. Believe me. They're not going to have a fun Monday. Rob Boudreaux says, we're scared. We scored enough today to we just walked too damn many. They walked too damn many too. But again, it's what double-edged sword do you want to go down? It's a complete team thing because you can't leave that many runners on because you left 8 runners on from the 3rd inning on. I mean, I guess I could go look in the first and second and see how many guys you left on. So you left 8 on. So we know that you left 8 on. Let's go look in the first and second. Okay, first. One. The second you didn't leave any. The second you left. So Kling started off with a strikeout. Morgan lined out to shortstop. Cruz had a double in the right center. White hit a single back up the middle. Or no, excuse me. Hit it between third and short. Dugas walked. You had a pitching change, and then you flew out. So you left on 2. So that's 10. So that's 10 here. So you left 10 guys on. Now let's go to the first. All right. Kling struck out. Morgan walked. Cruz walked. Error by the pitcher. Everyone's safe. So bases loaded. You have a walk. Gavin Dugas gets the RBI on the walk. Then Pearson hits a single in the right, 2 RBIs. So you have runners on first and third. Jones strikes out. You had Thompson, who has a single in the center field. He gets an RBI, runners on first and second. And then Neal line drive in the right center. That's out. So you left 12 guys on. You left 12 runners on base. So when you have a combination of leaving 12 guys on and then having a 5th inning like you did and an 8th inning like you did, you're going to get beat. You're going to get beat. All right, a couple more, then we'll get on out of here. Brandon Reed says, I liked that this team showed a lot of mental toughness in the series. Agree with that. Fully agree. Especially on Saturday when we were trailing, I think 4-0 late in the game. Yeah. It's midway through, right? Midway through. How long does it take to get a pitcher ready? Shit, you're going to have to ask somebody else that. I guess it just all depends on who the pitcher is. Chase on Facebook said I'd go Morgan, Cruz, Tommy Jones. I don't mind that. This is scary. Penn Jones says Vanderbilt's weekend starters are all lefties. Shit. Oh shit. Oh man. Cat Clark says, how about them Lady Tigers? Sweet 16, baby. We're coming for Utah. Man, what is there really to do in Utah? Like, really? I want Utah. All right, a couple more, then we're out. Coach Payton says Coop shouldn't have pitched today, but at the end of the day, as a whole, we wasn't good enough. We can nitpick all night, but we won 2 of 3 on the road. We are good. Let me reread. As a whole, we wasn't good. We weren't good. Yeah, you were good. You you were fine, man. Don't let one game overshadow what you did on the weekend. Don't let that happen. Doug Knows says, old saying, win your home series and always take one on the road will get you to a regional host site. Well, let's hope you win every series. All right, last one. Michael says, Coach Jay was right at the beginning of the season. Umpires need to not worry about the pitch clock and worry about balls and strikes. I agree with that. Oh, hold on. Brandon Reese is right. He says, I'm looking forward to spring football. It's very true. I think we will be out there all day on Saturday. So will be a massive Sunday show. Massive Sunday show. All right. See y'all tomorrow. Car of the Power, join us. Have a good night. Peace.